This is Nate Strord. I'm practice lead at Third Stage Consulting. Have been with Third Stage for 5 years now, and before that had a career with Deloitte Consulting where I worked in their finance transformation and their digital transformation team as well. As practice lead, I'm in charge of the project governance and also fill in with the rest of our team to help them with certain engagements and also with proposal work, and as we work to sell more engagements throughout the life cycle of the engagement that we're on. Today we're going to be talking about project governance as it relates to the third stage engagements, and also project governance as we sell them to the clients to put their own governance structure in place and their own governance practice in place after we have completed the engagement and after we move on from the work that we're doing from them. Mostly with third stage, I was able to take what experience I had with Deloitte Consulting, which is a larger multinational firm, and bring it to a smaller firm like Third Stage. So we took a practice that had both contractors and third stage employees and had a great deal of variety as far as experience is concerned, and really put the project governance level in place. And what I do on a daily basis is to try and make sure that third stage is delivering to their clients and to our partners what we've promised them, how we have promised that we would deliver our goods and services, and that we do it in a timely manner, on budget or below budget, what we've proposed. Basically, governance in the context of project management is just putting a structure in place, putting the people, process, and technology in place that allows you to provide the services that you have promised to customers. So it's not only when we are in the proposal phase do we tell a customer, here's what your problem is and here's what we see as the solution, but we are also going through saying, here's how we're going to deliver that solution. Project governance comes through, and that's the layer that is involved from the initial contact with the potential client all the way through to our final engagement closeout. We basically put this practice into place to ensure that we are giving the client what we've promised that we're going to give them, that we give it to them on budget or below budget, and that we do it in a timely manner. With all of our engagements, there's going to be times when we're going to see hiccups throughout the engagement, and the project governance structure doesn't eliminate the chance for errors, but it greatly reduces the chance that we will have some error or some hiccup throughout the engagement. Project governance impacts the success of the project in many ways, but it really, I think, at a very high level, it puts the guidelines in, or it puts the framework and the methodology in that allows our team and our client to succeed with the project. So again, coming back to the fact that it's not only holding our team accountable, but the client team accountable for their role in the engagement and our role in the engagement, sticking to the timeline, sticking to the budget, and sticking to what we have promised we would deliver them through the life cycle of the engagement. One of our biggest successes that we have had to date with Third Stage was a change management engagement that we are actually still in the midst of. It was originally slated for a 1-year engagement, and we're right now in about the middle of year 2. And where we really relied on our governance structure and a really strong governance practice was that we came into a change management engagement really in the middle of where we should have come in. So we came in kind of late to the game after our client had started the engagement already. So what we really needed to make sure that we put in place was a clear understanding with the client to say, here's what you've done to this point in time, here's what we're going to do going forward, and here's what we're going to need to do to make up for the time that we weren't involved in the engagement, and here's what you can expect from us, here's what we expect from you, and here's how long it's going to take, and here's the budget that it's going to take. Without a really strong governance practice in place, you run the risk of a client expecting more than you're going to deliver. It's usually they expect more than you're going to deliver, but sometimes less, expecting it in a shorter time frame or expecting it for lower than what you've proposed from a budget point of view. So we really, it really at a very minimum is just coming up with a very clear understanding of where you are, where you're going, what steps you need to take to get there, how long it's going to be, and what it's going to cost them. The key components of a robust governance framework, I would say, fall into the category of clear communications, a clear communication structure. So agreeing with the client and with your internal team when you're going to communicate, so when you're going to have status meetings, when you're going to have status meetings at the various levels, not only with the core team, but with the executive team and the executive leadership team, how you're going to communicate with them, and then how you're going to communicate with the organization. The levels of communication are going to be different depending on what roles people play within the organization. So some might require phone calls, some might require emails, some might require the written documents, but it's really establishing when the communication is going to happen, how it's going to happen, and how periodic it's going to happen. The second key is just really providing a clear status of where you stand from a timeline point of view, from a work plan point of view, and from a budget point of view. So just coming into a client and saying we're on budget, we're good to go, doesn't really tell them a lot. But what you really need to tell a client is, here's what we've promised that we would do up to this point in time, here's how much it has cost you, here's how much we have remaining in the budget, and here's the effort that we have going forward to complete the engagement. It's often throughout the engagement you're going to have ebbs and flows where you're going to get things done a lot quicker. You're going to have times when you're going to be hitting some roadblocks and things aren't going to go as quick as you thought. So it's really making sure that everyone's on the same page, both from an internal third stage point of view and from a client point of view, that here's where we are, here's where we're going to be, and here's what it's going to take to get there. And then finally, I think the biggest and one of the most important parts of a governance structure is just having that set methodology in place. So really having a set way that all your team and the client team works on a day-to-day basis. So how you communicate, how you conduct your meetings, how you present your deliverables, what your deliverables look like, that sort of thing really sets the tone for a good framework, or I always say it kind of lays down the highway that you're all going to travel through during the engagement. So how do you decide the governance structure for each client or each engagement? That's a really good question, and it really, I would say, depends. You have your basic methodology framework is always going to be the same. You're going to have the same steps from a communication point of view, from a reporting point of view, from a budget adherence point of view. But then that's where it really changes. Some clients are very informal. You learn that by putting together 4 or 5 different committees that are going to steer the engagement is just way overkill. It might be 1 or 2 people, and that might be over lunch once a month. There are other clients or other engagements that you have that you're literally going to have a daily status update and a daily communication with the client. So the framework is always the same. The steps are always the same, but it's the level of detail that you put into the steps, and it's the level of formality really kind of depends on what the client's needs are and what's called out in the engagement. Some engagements are very straightforward. There's not a lot of gray areas in them, and in those type engagements, you're really pretty free to have a little bit looser governance structure, I would say. But then there's other clients that are really going to require a lot of rigid framework so that everyone's on the same page moving forward. So kind of to wrap it up, the governance structure that we've put in place at Third Stage is really set up not only for the client but also for Third Stage as well. We put this in place to make sure that we have a quality product and a sustainable product that we're able to give to the client. And again, back to the theme that we always go to, give them what you told them you were going to deliver on time and on budget. It also is very important that we work with the client to introduce this governance structure so that when we're done with an engagement, they're able to take this framework and this structure and use it internally for their projects and for how they manage their IT and their other engagements going forward. If you have any questions or if you'd like any more information or you'd like to talk about any governance challenges that you're having, please give me a call at our or you can contact us through our website as well. Thank you.